Okay, it's week 4, and after we complete this week, we will be half done with the course, which is exciting. And I just wanted you to be aware that at the later part of next week, I will be submitting progress reports or midterm grades to the registrar's office as well. The first thing I'd like you to do this week is just take this quick 3-question anonymous survey to give me some input about the assignments that you completed last week. That will be helpful to me. Then we're going to go on and look at the remaining categories that we had left over from last week. And we're going to start with productivity apps. I'm going to have you go out and explore the stores for some productivity apps, and as you do that, you'll be able to start determining subcategories or different types of productivity apps. I'd like you to come up with at least 5 subcategories, and for each of those subcategories, identify and provide one example of an app that you would include in that subcategory. And for each of those examples, you're going to provide these things listed here in the journal. Just to give you an idea how this might look, if I were to do the same assignment on game apps, I might have subcategories like puzzle games, trivia games, racing games, sport games. Or I might come at it from a completely different standpoint and have categories like individual games, team games, 2-player games, 4-player games. Any way that you want to subcategorize, as long as it makes sense, is fine. When you have 5 subcategories, you're going to choose an example for each. So I've just given 2 examples. The subcategory puzzle games, I chose 2048, and for trivia games I chose Trivia Crack, and then I gave you an example journal post of what that would look like that meets all the requirements listed above. So that's just to give you an idea what we're looking for. Next, you're going to go on and watch this short quiz about, or I'm sorry, you're not going to watch a quiz, you're going to watch a video about the top 10 social networks and what to post on them. I want to prepare you that this is a humorous, light-hearted video. It's a comical commentary, so just go into it with lightheartedness. But what I would like you to do is, as he lists the 10 social networks, I'd like you to take note of them, and afterwards go out into the stores or on the web and find them and make sure that you have an understanding or could describe them in a sentence or two, what each of them is or its main purpose. And I'd also like you to be able to recognize each of them through the visual representation or the icon that's associated with them. When you're done with that, you're going to come back here and take this matching quiz, and it's just going to be 10 points with each of the 10 social networks listed, and you're going to match it to the item that goes with that social network app. Please note that Hootsuite is not in the video, but it is a social media management system where you can manage multiple social media networks in one location. So I'd like you to go out and become familiar with the basics of that as well. Then we're going to turn our attention to web browsing apps. And in order to do that, we need to understand the difference between native apps versus hybrid apps versus web apps. There are some apps that would appear to be mobile apps. We assume that they are because we're looking at them on a mobile device or we find them in a mobile app store, but in fact they really are just a mobile version of the website. So a mobile website or delivered on a mobile device. So read the information from the links here and the links to articles that you'll find. Find out the difference in how you can identify them and what that means. And then you're going to come down and find the DMAC mobile app and the Iowa State My State app out in the app stores. You can go to any of the app stores, find them, become familiar with the features, what's all included, how it works. It would be beneficial if you could download the apps on your mobile device so that you can move around inside them and examine them as a user. And when you've done that, you're going to create a journal entry that compares and contrasts the 2 apps, and you're going to address the things that I've listed in bullet points here. After that, you are going to find at least 2 examples of apps that really are just utilizing mobile web pages. So you'll read this article, read the instructions of the assignment, and then again I've given you an example that you can't use, of course, about coals and why I included it and the answers to the questions that I've asked for. Then thinking about news apps, I'd like you to read this article and watch this short video about a teenager who created an app that summarized and made it easier to keep up with current news. It's quite fascinating, and if you'd like more information after the video and after reading the 5 facts in that article about what Yahoo is doing with that app or the technology of it, feel free to do that, because he did sell that app to Yahoo for quite a lot of money as a teenager. Then we're going to focus our attention on what causes apps to fail or be unsuccessful. So far we've looked at mostly apps that have succeeded, but we also need to consider what apps have failed or what has caused them to be unsuccessful. And the reason for this is because the first 4 weeks we have sort of looked at apps from a consumer standpoint or as a user, and starting in week 5 we're going to approach our work from more of a developer standpoint or a marketing and advertising standpoint. So in order to know what makes a good app, we're going to look at some things that make bad apps. So there's some articles to read, there's videos to watch on lessons that have been learned by apps that have failed. So read those things, investigate those things, and then you're going to have a 25-point assignment that's a 2-page paper, research paper. You're going to research the ingredients necessary for successful apps, and you're going to outline those in a 2-page MLA style paper. I've included a link to the guidelines for MLA papers so you're familiar with that. In addition to the 2 pages, you're going to include a 3rd page of works cited so that you can include at least 5 resources that you used, and make sure that in your paper you are using direct quotes from those 5 sources. After you've completed that assignment, your last task is to complete another 3-question anonymous survey about the assignments that you completed in week 4, and this will hopefully help me look forward to the last 4 weeks if there's any adjustments I need to make, and give me things to think about so that I can make this course better. So that's week 4. Thanks, good luck, and I'll see you again next week.